Hi guys, I've just arrived at Hampton Court for the Concourse of Elegance 2023, and of course the first cars you see here are the cars that are up for auction. These cars are going to go up for auction. I'd like to show you around, but I can show you this 1957 beautiful gold Porsche 356 and that 1993 iconic Jaguar XJ220 behind me, but a lot of the cars are still covered up, and the reason they're covered up is because it's been chucking it down. But hopefully it's going to dry up a bit later and we'll get to see some of these cars in their true glory in the sunshine. It's always sunny when I come here normally. It's quite unusual this time. Anyway, let's go inside and check out the cars and see what we've got here at Hampton Court Concourse of Elegance 2023.
A brown car guy. Brown car guy.
No emissions of that one. Oh my goodness, that is Smoking like a barbecue. Look at all the smoke in the air. This one, it says, is powered by synthetic fuel. Bentley Speed 8. Surprisingly quiet. Look at this thing. I'll tell you a little bit more about these cars in a minute once they're parked up. But the cars are still coming in at the moment, fighting against the rain. You got this crazy sight of, well, as you can see here, cars coming in with the drivers in convertibles, but propping up umbrellas over the cars. And it's more about protecting the cars than it is really about protecting the drivers. They're more concerned about their interiors, which is not really surprising. This is another beautiful thing. I'll tell you a little bit more about this incredible Maserati in a bit, but it's one of the stars for sure. No wonder he's trying to look after it. Gold Mura. How adorable is that? Let's walk down here because I've just spotted, in addition to the cars that are coming in, because it's still like, it's actually quite late for the concourse. It's about gone past 11 o'clock now. And normally they're all in by this time, so this is actually quite late. But I just spotted this, look at this. Beautiful blue Ferrari F40. It's quite a rarity. You probably hear me crunching on the waterlogged gravel right now. Oh dear, oh dear. But check this out. Oh my goodness. That's got to be Middle East spec, hasn't it? That has got to be Middle East spec. Especially in that color, that's a very sand color. Classic convertible Range Rover. Must have an eagle launcher in it. Oh, it's just packed. No indication really. And this thing here, this is genuine. Something that is an incredible thing to behold in reality because it's a genuine 250 GTO in white. That's incredible. 275 GTV. Utterly beautiful. What's commonly known as the Daytona. Gorgeous. You got GTR there, proper race spec. And of course, this is the incredible thing about an event like this, is that you expect that there'll be a certain kind of car here, and then suddenly you come across a Panda 4x4. I mean, that's extraordinary. A Panda 4x4 with, what is that, skis on it. Well, James Bond. For your eyes only. Crazy Bentley with the rear window taken out. Delahaye, probably amongst the most elegant cars ever. Henry Chaperon. Electrified. Spano Suiza, when they used to be pretty, unlike what the namesakes are doing at the moment. Oh, a car cover that tells you what the car is underneath. Yes, that's not a car. It's just a cover. California, I believe. Gorgeous. And in addition to this beautiful thing, what I've noticed behind is a Pagani, which of course are amazing. And next to the Pagani, a Lamborghini Countach, which is, oh, you see, the thing is, try not to get in people's shots there. Though I don't mind a bit of photobombing, as you know. There it is. Oh, look at isn't that's got to be one for the brown car guy, hasn't it? Look at this. That was a Targa. Oof, my goodness. Carhuma, it's beautiful.
Internet's still right about it.
Brown car guy.
check this out. This is a Bentley 4.5 litre, and it was part of that legendary 1, 2, 3, 4 team sweep from Bentley at the 1929 Le Mans 24 Hours. It came fourth, this one, and it remains one of the most successful of the marque's original bodied racing cars. In fact, its competition history, including appearances at events such as the Irish TT inaugural, Irish International Grand Prix, the 6 Hours, Double 12, 500 miles Brooklands, all of that you can actually see here. I don't know if you can make that out, but it's actually on the grille. This one continued its competition career, and in fact it features in a 1960s Shell Oil advertising campaign, and a 1990 feature film starring Jason Connery, the son of Sean Connery, which I suppose kind of makes sense because James Bond originally was supposed to be driving an old Bentley. So this 1964 Ferrari 250 LM is also rather special. It's actually a right-hand drive, if you can make that out. It debuted at the 1963 Paris Auto Salon. This number 5909, it was shipped in right-hand drive, bizarrely, to Luigi Cinetti and the NART team in the US. But it's also been in the Le Mans, it's been in the Nürburgring, and a bunch of other races, and a load of drivers have driven it, including John Surtees. And it's been at special events like Pebble Beach, the Quail, and of course here at the Concourse of Elegance. So if you're a Lewis Hamilton fan, then this 2007 McLaren MP4/22A was actually his car. Well, kind of his car. He achieved his first 2 pole positions in this car. He won his first 2 races. Canadian Grand Prix and Indianapolis. I also finished second. And who else has driven this car? Actually, Fernando Alonso has also driven this car, and he raced it at the Malaysian Grand Prix. It's the last McLaren to be fitted with traction control, because this was banned after 2007. I gotta say, it's pretty, isn't it? Compared to the modern stuff. I mean, if you look at the contours and the lines of this thing, look at that, it's sculpted like a Batmobile. I mean, there's some design to this. The way the exhaust sort of menacingly comes out there, all these little winglets and everything. Yeah, definitely, even down to these little fins here. I mean, definitely some design aspect in that one compared to the latest gen cars. Now every year at the Concourse of Elegance there's always one car like this 1936 Hoffman X8 that just defies logic. You just think, wow, I've never seen one before. What is it? How does it make any sense? Why weren't there any more of them? Why is this one unique? Well, you know what, I'm just going to read from the blurb for this one, if you just check that out. It's the first opportunity to see this car because it's been shrouded in mystery and hidden from public view for decades. It was an experimental car, a streamlined, which was innovative for the 1930s, that's for sure. And it's powered by a very remarkable 60-degree water-cooled motor that was an 8-cylinder but configured in an X. It was built by eccentric engineer, car builder, automotive innovator Roscoe C. Rod Hoffman. It hasn't been restored, it's just been sort of aesthetically cleaned up, but it was hidden away, and this is it. And this is the first time that it's been seen on this side of the Atlantic. Look at the doors, they open, this one sort of opens conventionally, that's a rear hinge door. Very interesting, it's a rear engine of course, streamlined, no running boards, which for the time is actually quite remarkable. And, you know, flared in headlights. This is, you know, if you think in 1935, it says 1936 on there, but in 36, 35, whatever. That's amazing. So this is number 54 of 150 Aston Martin Valkyries that were made with special Q Commission styling features, obviously. Now this car has basically 1,139 brake horsepower, or 1,160 with the F1 Curve style boost system. It is a hybrid. It's got 6.5 litre V12, Cosworth V12 married to electric motor. That's how it does it. It generates nearly 2,000 kilograms, 1,814 to be exact, of downforce. It weighs only 1,030 kilograms, but it will do 0 to 62 miles per hour in 2.6 seconds. Has a top speed of well over 200 miles per hour. What an extraordinary thing. And look how filthy it is. Doesn't it look good when it's filthy? How extraordinary. If I just show you that bit of a car, do you recognize what it is? You might be flummoxed a little bit, but when I do that, you'll know exactly what this is. This is a 1974 Aston Martin. It's a Lagonda Series 1. So although it's got the looks and the style at the front of the V8 Vantage, or Vantage, whatever you want to call it back in the day, but it's actually a 4-door. So it's a luxury saloon car. Very cool. This is the way to do it. And I think the modern Lagonda could learn a little bit from this. Although I gotta be honest, I do have a soft spot for that crazy 70s, 80s Lagonda as well. But that does look rather tasty, doesn't it? Manufacturers are always in this corner of the Concourse of Elegance. I say corner, but it leads in from the main straight, so the Pizzerini is always here actually, in this area. Comes with its own transporter. And over here, there's usually, oh that's interesting, so Audi have brought one of their Quattro rally cars, which is very, very cool.
It was sold to Tosi Alex, who raced it more than any other XKSS on tracks including Road America, Wilmot,
bespoke handling, Dino, X456, Rodin, whatever that is, looks like an F1 car. But the interesting thing is that over here normally you find Lotus. So Lotus hasn't bothered this year. And this is the main stage where basically Richard Charlesworth, who normally does.
And next up is a very, very significant motor car indeed, ladies and gentlemen.
This is where you see them coming up here, look at this.
I don't know if we've ever seen this car in the UK. Bruce, hello, good to see you.
Now while they're talking about Cobra, you may have caught a glimpse of this one earlier, but this is rather special. This is a Ferrari 250 GTO, of course, but this is chassis 3729 GT. It's one of just 8 right-hand drive. Yes, it's right-hand drive, this one. So it was out of just one of 8 out of the 36 that were built in right-hand drive, and it was the only one of those 8 that was actually delivered in white. So it was actually delivered in white, and it was received by Maranello concessionaires for the Jaguar dealer and famous British racing team owner John Coombs. The car was actually first raced at Brands Hatch on August 6, 1962. Roy Salvadori drove it to 2nd overall in the Pico Trophy, and 2 weeks later it was contested by world champion to be Graham Hill at the Tourist Trophy at Goodwood. That is a very special thing indeed, and I hesitate to even guess at what the value of that might be. This car looks rather familiar. In fact, I'm pretty sure that belongs to a friend of mine. This is obviously, or should obviously be, the lineup for the Drivers Union Club, and that size car, obviously. So let's just walk along these and admire these stunning cars. Quite a lot of Ferraris here. F4 red. That's a pretty cool number plate, isn't it? And we've got some 911s, not just any 911s, of course. A GT3 RS. Look at the carbon pack on that one. This is green Ferrari. Is it 550? 550 or 575? How extraordinary is that? That's a serious Merc. Soof. And then we got the Magnum Ferrari, proper one. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Oh, Yusuf is here. This is Yusuf's car. Wonder where he is. Yusuf's Jag with the gold wheels, very distinctive. And some of these cars we've seen featured at some of my other videos recently, where I've been commentating on them at Brands Hatch. Sun's come out, but it continues to rain. Beautiful 1952 Jaguar XK120. But these are amazing, aren't they? 64 Faisal Vega 2 Now, these cars were about 3 times the price of a Jaguar E-Type at the time. The Charles Persia, Frank Sinatra, Debbie Reynolds, Tony Curtis, Ringo Starr all had one of these. This one is one of 182 Faisal 2s that were built. 26 of those are right-hand drive. This is a right-hand drive, and this I think was the one that was put on display at the 1964 London Motor Show. This is the 1975 Quattroporte Frau Prototipo from Maserati, and the Quattroporte celebrates 60th birthday. Of course, the last V8 is currently in production. That's what the blurb says. This was looks like it was one of 2 cars that were built, 4.9 litre V8, 296 brake horsepower in an Indy-derived platform. This is chassis 002. It was first shown to the public at the Paris Salon de l'Automobile in October 71. Who doesn't recognize that? Lamborghini Diablo. These came out in 1990. This is a 2001 example. By this time, Audi had taken over. It's got the fixed lights at the front. This is the car, obviously, that replaced the Countach. The VT was all-wheel drive. They had a 5.7 litre V12 with 492 brake horsepower and an interior by Chrysler, as I've said. So, actually, the Diablo VT 6 litre, which this one is, this one actually had a 6 litre 550 brake horsepower, 550 brake horsepower. And what an extraordinary thing. This is number 5 of a limited production run of 42 cars. And it was built to Gulf State specifications. It was purchased by a well-known personality, it says here, in Kuwait in 2001. It's in the Sunrise specification with Oro Ilios paint and Maroni trim. It was stayed in Kuwait until it was purchased by the Caravan Collection in December 2022. Who doesn't love a Lamborghini Countach? Interestingly, this is without a rear wing. This is a 1990 25th anniversary edition, and it was one of only 67 that were actually made in right-hand drive. The chassis 12958, and he had a periscope Countach finished in the Arancio Mura, I think is a correct pronunciation, I hope so anyway, and he wanted another one, but they didn't do that anymore in 1990. But Valentino Balboni, the famous test driver at Lamborghini, they granted approval for this car to be done. So no further 25th anniversary cars were permitted to be finished in this color. He got the car in 1990, but this car in 2020, after a protracted sale, began. It began in 2020, and it took 13 months to sell the car. And after 16 years in storage, it was returned to the road in 2021. It was recommissioned. The current owner acquired the car with 5,000 miles on it, but added 3,000 miles on a grand tour through Netherlands, Switzerland, Germany, autobahns through the Alps, Italy, etc., etc. Love to see these things being used. Can you imagine seeing that driving around? Wowzers. You know when you've been tangoed. 1971 Porsche 911 ST. Now ST was actually kind of a rally package building on the R and TR models that had been successful in road rallies in 1969. So less restrictive regulations meant Porsche could fit wider wheels and tires, thinner gauge steel on this car. 2.2 litre flat 6 was brought out to 2.3 litres for competition, and then later increased to 2.5. Wowzers. We have 265 brake horsepower, 192 pounds-foot of torque, and it weighed only 960 kilograms. And of course, when Bugatti was reborn, it came out with these ones, the EB110 GT, that were built between 91 and 95. This one is a 94, chassis number 3965. It's one of 84 road-based GT variants fitted with new lightweight wheels. There you go. Very uninspiring wheels, I have to say. And the grey interior leather as well. Let's give you the spec on this thing, shall we? Because it's quite impressive, actually. 553 brake horsepower from its 3.5 litre V12 quad turbocharged 6-speed manual all-wheel drive. That's 211 miles per hour and 3.46 seconds to 60 miles per hour. Now this thing you might be familiar with, you've seen it before on TV, on shows. It's probably the world's tiniest car, the 1964 Peel P50. It's tiny, but it is a little bland looking. It literally is a little box on wheels. However, this thing also a Peel, also 1964. Now that looks like something out of the Jetsons. Look at it. It's full glass or perspex, whatever that is, canopy. It's got style on it. It's got these sort of, it's called a Trident. And it's got these sort of, well, it's got the Maserati Trident on the front, for example, but it's got these lines along the side. It's got this real bubble sort of look about it. Believe it or not, this is a two-seater, kind of, ish. It's a very cozy two-seater, as opposed to the other one. But that's a full canopy that comes up. And the interesting thing is that the little rakes, there's no window, of course, so you have a little vent thing there. I suppose either to put the money in the tolls, or to just get some air in, I guess. But look at that, you know. One, neutral, second, third. Interesting. One spoke steering wheel that looks like out of a kid's toy car. What an extraordinary thing. Two rather special things from the Isle of Man. This 1934 Bugatti Type 59, I mean, it's a well battered and bruised car, so I'm surprised they've gone to the effort of trying to protect the interior from rust, I suppose. Maybe it collects water. It's part of Switzerland's Pearl collection, and it was created in response, well, to motorsports to compete against the likes of Mercedes and Alfa Romeo. It's considered to be a technical marvel and a masterpiece of industrial art, with remarkable piano wheel wheels, dropped body, lower center of gravity, longer wheelbase, and a supercharged straight 8 engine. It's Bugatti's final GP Grand Prix machine. It's widely held to be the most elegant pre-war competition machine of all. Just 6 were built, and this particular example went on to take 3rd place at the Monaco Grand Prix and overall victory in Belgium. It's got a sort of real tough, been in the wars sort of look about it, hasn't it? Let's hope they never restore this thing. From a astonishingly ruggedly good-looking Bugatti to one that perhaps isn't. This was obviously inspired by the EB110 that we were looking at earlier. This was the Cento Dieci. Oh, it's the 110th anniversary Bugatti. That's what it was meant to be. This one is owned again by the Pearl collection. It's one of only 10 that were built. It's got a 1,577 brake horsepower, 8-litre W16 engine. It'll accelerate from 0 to 62 miles per hour in 2.4 seconds and reach 236 miles per hour. I gotta say, if you've got nearly 1,600 horsepower and you can only do 2.4 seconds, blah. Anyway, give me an EV10 any day. This is the 1965 Fiat Abarth 1000 record Pininfarina Principessa. This is another one from the Fritz Burkhardt Pearl collection. This is extraordinary. I mean, look at this. This is like one of those world land speed record-breaking cars, isn't it? Look at the streamlined design. Imagine that in 1965. It was a record car, drag coefficient of just 0.2 CD, which is extraordinary. 1000 cc engine though, just 100 brake horsepower, that's it. It set 9 records, including traveling 10,000 kilometers at a remarkable average speed of 118.7 miles per hour. It is a single-seater. It looks stunning. It makes a hell of a racket when it came in this morning. Oh my God, you had to plug in your ears. And yeah, I think it's probably one of the standout cars at the event today. Look at that. Another very rare, very famous thing, a 1936 Bugatti Type 57S Atalante. One of only 17 Type 57S models built wearing the 2-seater coupe coachwork. Delivered to Earl Howe, co-founder of British Racing Drivers Club via Bugatti agent Sorel of London. Car changed hands several times. Bought by Dr. Harold Carr from Newcastle upon Tyne in 1955. He put it into storage until 1960 and it remained there until his death in 2007. It was then rediscovered and fully restored to join the Pearl collection. What an extraordinary thing. Check out the number plate that's enclosed. How the cameras pick that up? Well, they don't. Ha 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 ha. Right, so you might have seen this already in this video. You might have caught glimpses of this thing. It made a hell of a racket, but for different reasons. You see the exhaust there, you see that? You see, this is the exhaust, and then you see this exhaust. And this one is for the smoke screen. Then you got the nudge bars that come out. You've got the bulletproof shield with the bullet holes on it. They're painted on, obviously. This is basically a James Bond's 1965 Aston Martin DB5. This is also part of the Pearl collection. And this one is apparently one of two cars that were produced in '65 with all the gadgets for use in promoting Thunderbolt. So there's not one of those continuation cars, because they've also made those. Aston Martin have made those, haven't they? When they made these cars, which are not road legal, obviously. I think it's got the swiveling number plates, and you can see the front nudge bars, and you can see the guns that come out from behind the indicator lights. So obviously it first appeared in Goldfinger, but then it was so popular that it appeared again later on. And it's also been in Skyfall, Spectre, No Time to Die. That was the last one, actually. It gets shot up and thrown to the bottom of the sea or something like that. But of course, it's got the rotating license plates, telescoping tire slashes, so it's got those as well on it. Oil slick, I don't know, it hasn't deposited any oil today, unlike a lot of cars that are here. Apparently, it's got the ejector seat, and I'll just show you the sunroof. But very, very cool thing. But it's definitely got the guns, and it makes a hell of a racket when it does that. So there you can see the panel that is supposed to come out when the ejector button is deployed. You can see there the box of gadgets. I don't know if you can make it out, but you can actually see the navigation map as well. I think you probably can't because of the reflections, but it's got the navigation map, and it's got the little box of gadgets and all the rest of it. That's rather special. That's interesting. Classic Range Rover, convertible by Lunas, so converted to electric. I wonder what the interior is like. Let's have a quick look. That's actually really cool.
Yeah, you're gonna have so much fun.
This section here is often private companies that either are doing specializing in restoration or some sort of modification or refabrication or continuation type vehicles. That's really cool, isn't it? Oh, and here we have the Beast STO. The brothers. These two are brothers. Just in case you possibly did not know that. Although having looking at them now together, the Bentayga does seem bigger, doesn't it? Maserati. Gorgeous, so gorgeous, so gorgeous. The new one looks exactly the same. I'm completely flabbergasted by that new one, honestly, if I can be allowed to use that word. And we go from the Gallardo to, look at this. That is cute.
Well, have a good day, yeah. Are you going to win a prize?
Oh, check that out. Oh, that's smart. Rapide. Not very common there. Silver Shadow. Oh, I remember years ago when fledgling journalists back in Saudi Arabia, in Jeddah, and I used to do some work with the dealer just to help him out a bit when he went to the auctions. So one time he bought a Mercedes SL classic one, 80s one, and he bought a Silver Shadow, and he goes, "Which one do you want to drive back?" And I think he expected me to say that, look at this. Ronald, sorry, easily distracted. I will continue the story in a minute. In Peterborough, launched in Peterborough in 1999. 25 orders were taken, 6 cars were made. So that's quite rare. I seem to recall that, actually. I do seem to remember that. Oh, look at that, badly cleaned, but nice blue. Delta HF. Oh, and look at that, I want that. Look, this is beautiful. Check that out, what a color. If that was Targa, that'd be my dream 911 right there. Alpina BMW. And look at this, M3 E46. I wonder. I wonder.
Oh,
That would
around
make a
here.
pretty good daily driver, wouldn't it? 850. So back to the Rolls-Royce story. It's a Silver Shadow. So I said, I'll take the Silver Shadow. The tires were bald. Steering was as light as a feather. Driving around Jeddah, doing wheel spins everywhere. Can you believe that? In the Rolls-Royce Silver Shadow. Just wheel spins at every opportunity. And it just loved it. And it was just bonkers. It was hilarious. Lovely old BMs. I should have brought mine and parked it here as well. So yeah, Silver Shadow does wheel spins. If I hadn't already been in Saudi Arabia, but I had it somewhere else, I would have put a dish dash on and pretended I was Sheikh Falafel from the Cannonball Run. Wouldn't that be funny? TBR, the mad TBRs. And then we have some McLarens and some Ferraris, Smart, and another Silver Shadow at the end, so I'm not going to walk any further. Oh, don't they look lovely? This color is just spectacular on this Cigaris. Always nice to see an open mirror, but one last car at the show I wanted to tell you about was this one. It's a 1955 A6GCS Fura Spider. It's appearing in the UK for the first time. Very rare, one of just 3 completed with this Frua, that's F-R-U-A coachwork. One of 3, but only one of 2 that survived. That's the only one of 2 that survived with these cars. Regarded as amongst the most beautiful cars of the 1950s of all time. So this car, as you may have guessed, Maserati base, Maserati Grand Sport. It says right there on the side actually. Conceived by, I'm trying to read here, Guglielmo Mimo D, official Maserati dealer for Rome. And he commissioned a small series of these based on the A6GCS platform. The CS stands for Corsa Sport, originally developed for the 1953 World Car Championship. It's got a 170 brake horsepower inline 6-cylinder engine. Look at the interior of this, which was developed for Colombo for Formula 2 racing. It's a beautiful thing, really is. Best in Show, Villa d'Este, 2010. And first public showing since its triumphant appearance on Lake Como, that was 13 years ago. So this is the first time it's been seen since then. There you go. What a thing. Look at the bonnet, that is stunning.
Brown car guy.
So there you go. Well, the sun did come out, and after the rain in the morning, the afternoon did actually get really, really nice. So once again, a beautiful first day of this amazing event. Still probably one of my favorite classic car events in the UK. Well worth a visit. I didn't even show you the cars parked here at the front. I'll just turn the camera around so you can have a quick look at them. But these are the cars that you see when you enter this courtyard at Hampton Court Palace. And then you just walk and walk and walk all day, and you still won't get to see everything. Quite an extraordinary event. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that video. If you can get down to one of these events, or to this very one, it's still on until Sunday. Do it! You must!
Brown car guy.
Check this out. This is just a car park, and look what I found. A brown 911 Targa. Oh my goodness. And look at the seating. It's so correct. This thing is so beautiful. Okay, it's not the white body, it doesn't have the whale tail, but other than that, that is perfection, isn't it? Wow, I wonder. Anyway, let's go find my car. Look at this. That's the way you do it. That's how you leave an event. Hey, there she is. Ah, back to the good old BCG BMW E30. Time to head home. Come on, baby.
Brown car guy.
Hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please hit the like button and share this video as well if you can. And while you're at it, check out these guys who also sponsor my content. I am deeply grateful to them because it helps me to buy new equipment, put fuel in the cars, and yes, buy a cup of coffee. You can do the same. Just go here or right here on YouTube. Just hit these three little dots down here and click on thanks. Make sure you're signed in first. My content is free, but this is how you can help me keep it that way. I may even send you a gift. Oh, by the way, watch this next.